Hi everyone, and welcome to the School of Social and Political Sciences live Q&A. I'm Lindsay Crawford and I am the Student Experience Manager at School of Social and Political Sciences. I am delighted to be able to talk to you today from all over the world. I'm sure there are people joining in from across the globe. We're going to talk today about why you should study a postgraduate master's within SPS, and a bit about the community within SPS and the city in general. And I'm so pleased to be joined today by two of our current students. We've got Elle Tashtian and Nivedita Paul. And then we've also got one of our former students, Lou Chauvin, and we'll be able to hear their experiences of what it's like to be a student within SPS and to live in the city of Glasgow. So to get things started, if we just do a little bit of an intro with each of them. So if each of you could introduce yourselves and tell us what you're currently studying and working at now and what you did before your master's in SPS. So maybe we'll start with Elle.
Hi, my name's Elle. I am currently a global health student at the University of Glasgow. I previously did my undergraduate here as well. I was on the social and public policy course. And yeah, did you ask, Lindsay, sorry, like what we were doing before?
Yes, so what you were doing, so you're currently a master's student in global health, Elle, but before you were actually also an undergraduate student within SPS, and you decided to continue within SPS.
Yeah.
That's great. And Nivedita?
Hello, everybody. I am Nivedita and I'm studying MSc in International Relations with the SPS. And before coming here, I was working back in India with one of the big four audit firm, PwC, as a content moderator. And I am working here currently with G4S Solutions, like as a safety steward. That's my part-time job. And apart from that, I study with, of course, my department and doing such events. And thank you.
Thanks, Nivedita. And then Lou, if you can just give us a little update, a bit of introing yourself, thanks.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Lou and I'm a former student at Glasgow Uni. I did both my undergrad and my master's at Glasgow. So in my undergrad, I studied social and public policy and sociology in joint honours. And then I did my master's in equality and human rights. And now I'm working at a charity called the Young Women's Movement, and it's a charity for young women's feminist leadership here in Scotland.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. And thanks again for joining us today. So if we have a think about your master's program and what made you choose your master's program. So Elle, as you said, you were currently an undergraduate on our social and public policy undergraduate degree. What made you choose to stay within SPS and to take our master's in global health?
I guess there's kind of like two parts to that question for me, because I was here before, I had such a good understanding of the community here. The way that my undergraduate worked out was I actually unfortunately got caught in the COVID year, so we still had a year of uni, but it was all online. So although I got classes, I lost out on that year of community. And I think we're going to get onto it later on, but like the community life at Glasgow has been such a big part of my experience. So yeah, I think with the degree specifically, I did undergraduate social policy, and that course was great because it really introduced you to like a really wide range of social inequalities and just kind of a very broad scope of topics. You had a great selection of courses to pick from, and the ones I kept coming back to were health related. And I think importantly, what drove that interest was, as an undergraduate, just to kind of make some money on the side, I was working in community pharmacy. I was working through in Edinburgh across pharmacies across the city, and I was just seeing, like, especially during COVID, like the real life impact of like the healthcare system in crisis. And so all of my interests kind of came together really neatly actually in that way, which was nice because especially when you got to dissertation at undergraduate, everyone was kind of forming these really niche interests. And yeah, I was really lucky I got to find mine. And with the global side of it, because at UofG for masters, they have like public health and public health management and global health, and they all kind of like sit together. But the distinctly interesting part of the global health for me was the fact that I'd really shied away from like international like perspectives at my undergraduate. I think it was just, I was really like safe in my bubble of Scotland, and I wanted to really like push myself to do that, and I'm really glad that I did, because I definitely have got that scope. so far.
That's great. Thanks, Ellen. It's really great that you're, global health seems such an obvious step for you, really aligned with what you were interested in. And it's just one of the several programs that we have across social and political sciences, catering for lots of different interests. So one of our other programs, maybe quite different from that, is international relations. So Nivedita, what drew you to studying our international relations postgraduate program?
There are a couple of factors behind my decision and the reason why I am right now in Glasgow. Number one, it has to be the pathways options. The IR MSc taught program actually gives us three different pathways, like the general pathway, the Russian pathway, the Chinese pathway. There are a lot of options for the students to choose from various kind of optional modules and subjects, like whichever subject they want to take for the particular semester. Followed by that, there is a very interesting trip that is conducted by the school, like it's a Brussels trip. We go to various important organizations based out of Brussels, people who want to pursue their career in politics, bureaucracy, diplomacy, these things are going to, like, it's a big exposure for us. Apart from that, the course also has very interesting things like policy brief. Now, policy brief is a particular thing which, anybody who wants to work in the field of politics or IR has to go through that. So I actually did a very good research and I found out that University of Glasgow was one of the university which comes with this kind of modules where the students has to write a policy brief. And followed by that, there was also this thing, a particular subject, like a course, if I talk about like climate, energy, and IR. So we all know how climate is shaping the entire world right now. And our batch is the first batch in the department who are going to the subject climate, energy, and IR. And I cannot let you all know, like, it's a very interesting subject. The professors are really nice. I myself, I didn't know that the climate has so much of role to play, and how the politics and IR is actually in a way influencing and dominating things, be it the CO2 emission or whatever. So yeah, there are a lot of reasons. There were, like, it's an amalgamation. I have plenty of things like behind why I am here and doing what I'm doing right now.
That's really interesting. Thanks, Nivedita. And I know the Brussels trip, from speaking to students that have gone on it previously, has always been a real highlight for them. But I don't know if you want to talk about your scholarship here, Nivedita, because you said you've won a scholarship to come and study in Glasgow. And I know for a lot of students, and for perhaps some people that are watching today, they'll be thinking about how they can finance their master's trip, so their master's program. So could you maybe give a bit of detail about that?
Yes, sure. There are plenty of scholarships available on the university website. If I talk specifically of the department, there are a couple of them, like around 4 to 5 for sure. There are specific for country-wise, women and leadership. Like I personally, I got a scholarship which was about international leadership scholarship, and I applied for a couple of them because I didn't know which one I'll get. So I just wanted to have, like, all the chances. And all you need to do is write a statement of purpose, like why the university should give you a scholarship, and with a certain word limit. And that's it. Like, it's actually a very, I mean, it kind of helped me because coming from a developing country like India, getting a financial aid is very much important and crucial. The decision was in a way shaped because I received the scholarship. So, and I mean, be it whichever part of the country or planet we are applying from, I mean, scholarships always helps. We all know that. And I'm sure that the department is planning more of scholarships in the coming new years. So just look out for the scholarship options on the website. That will help.
Yeah. Thanks, Nivedita, and well done, because as you say, getting a scholarship obviously gives you financial help to come and study here, but it's also a great achievement for you personally to have been picked out of all the people that have applied. So well done to that. And as you said, there's information available on our website. So please check. We may be able to post the links onto this session. And also check out opportunities available in your country that can allow for you to go study abroad. So please look into that too. So thank you. And then just finally, we'll come to Lou. If you can tell us a bit about why you studied your program. Now, I should say that Lou's program is currently not running at the moment, But the program that Lou did, she was taking many of the classes that are still running within the school. But it would be great to hear if you also were an SPS undergraduate. So what made you stay within SPS?
Yeah, so I think listening to Elle, I could really resonate with your experience as well. I finished my undergrad also during COVID, and I think I just really needed, like, I really wanted an extra year within the school, also because my experience had always been quite positive, like within SPS, and especially during COVID, where things were really messy and uncertain and stuff. Like, I think the school really provided really good support, which was just really comforting and reassuring, especially when you're approaching like your end of your academic career and everything seems a bit stressful. So I looked into the master's programs, and like you said, my program is not running, but I'm pretty sure that like all programs run quite similarly. So one thing I really liked about the program that I did was the fact that you can kind of pick and choose the modules, like the classes that you want to integrate into your master's based on your personal interest, or like if there's a specific type of area that you want to do for like career prospects, or if there's some research areas that like you don't know a lot and you just want to take that module just to learn more about this. And I really like this, the way of like personalizing like that whole year of my master's degree, and just learning all of the different aspects of human rights and equality, because I knew I wanted to do something that had to do with women's rights. But I think having this whole range of modules to pick from, it really just improved like my understanding of human rights as a whole, which is still something that is very important in my current role in my job. And one thing that was also helpful is that I got a discount on my master's program because I did my undergrad here at Glasgow. So I think it was definitely also a valuable thing to keep in mind if you're thinking about doing your master's here. So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Sel. And thank you again for highlighting there that current undergraduate students, if you choose to go and do a master's at Glasgow University, you do get a discount. So lots of opportunities available there too. So thank you for that's great insight into why you chose the program that you chose. So can you tell us what your highlight has been about the program so far for Elle and Nivedita, and then for Lou, reflecting on your year of your masters? What has been the thing that you've liked most about it? Elle, come to you first, thanks.
I think I was having a real think about this question, because it's what everyone asks you, like all your family members and stuff, isn't it? It's like, oh, are you enjoying it? Like, what you like the most? And I think in regards to the course, like Lou, such a good point about being able to customize like your master's, because that really is the case. Like the other degrees I was talking about that are situated in health, like if that happens to be your interest, but I imagine it is the same with other degrees as well at master's level. But it's really intermixed. Like you're able to take pretty much the courses you want. Like there is scope for that, and the staff are really helpful at making sure that the degree that you're ultimately paying for is working for your interests. And I'm definitely having that experience in terms of the course I'm able to take. I would say going into the masters, the biggest thing I was worried about is, am I like smart enough for this? Like, do I have like the capabilities for this? And like, if you've done your undergrad degree, or like in my case, a lot of people on my course, it's kind of marketed as multidisciplinary, and it really is, because a lot of people on my course haven't just come from their undergrad. They're coming from like careers as doctors, as dentists, like as healthcare staff, like as policymakers already. And what I'm finding about it that's great is like the scope of the learning from undergrad it's so different. So it's not like you're going into these classes and being taught like you're like in the health, you're not going into a class and being taught about like cancer or depression or very specific issues. Like you're taught like theoretical concepts, and the way that the assignments work is you're able to take your own interests and apply them. So I guess an example of that, I took a class on healthcare interventions, and so they taught us kind of like a theoretical framework for making a healthcare intervention, making sure it was robust and making sure that it was safe. And I have my own interest in like Scotland's pharmacy landscape, for example, based on my experience. And I was able to take things that I already know, like evidence-based things that I already know, and apply them to this framework and create something like an intervention that like could be used in the future. And although it's hypothetical because it's obviously, you know, you're in your degree, like these are skills that I think will be really useful going forward for me. And I can definitely now like feel confident I've got them. So yeah, I'd say that's probably what I'm enjoying most about it, is the scope broadens so much. It's less like you regurgitating information you've been told and like in a critically analytical way, and more like synthesizing new ideas based on your interests. Like, definitely been the best bit.
Thank you, Elle. That's really interesting. And yes, and I think it's great you highlighting the skills that you learn in your masters and how they're so transferable into whatever you go on to do. And it was really interesting hearing you talk about the other students on your program as well. You know, you're meeting people from different walks of life and at different stages of their career, and being able to kind of draw on their experience too, and make those connections, which I think are really a really important part of master's life. So thanks Elle. And Nivedita, what about you? What have you enjoyed most about your international relations program?
Very similar to like as she mentioned, she was scared about joining masters, and I was apprehensive because I was a working professional for a very long time, and coming back to studies, it was a huge decision. Preparing myself mentally and psychologically, and that to moving to a foreign land. So I was very scared overall. But from the very first day, beginning of the like, since I landed here, my visa was delayed. I am so thankful to my course convener over here, who kept on constantly mailing me like, what's the status? Where are you? How like early we can expect you? I mean, the kind of help, the kind of coordination, cooperation I have received from the people over here in the university, uh, I am forever indebted. And if I talk about the program, um, again, the course modules, the options we have, the options are so diverse. There is clinical psychology. Somebody from the School of Politics can opt for that. There is international organizations. There is, of course, international theory. Like uh, somebody who wants to mix and match different things, which might not sound relevant to me, but that makes sense to that particular individual, you have the option to do. All you need to do is seek permission and get an approval. That's it. uh, the overall modules are very nice. They give you an in-depth understanding of each and every subject. The semester is only for a couple of months. Even I was worried, like how will I learn things? It's so quick. Everything will be like finished off so early. But now, after attending the classes, we are almost done with second semester. Just a couple of more weeks, and I have so much of clarity. I know what am I doing. I'm happy. I'm sorted mentally. I know, like, okay, this is what I actually thought of, and this is where I am. So there's nothing actually that I didn't enjoy about the program. uh, as I mentioned, I came late. My deadlines for submissions of assignments were extended. All my professors were like, no worries, we are there. So uh, they are very accommodating. Like, there is nothing you have to worry about. You have a problem, the university has a solution for anything and everything. Trust me.
Thanks, Nivedita, and thanks for highlighting how supportive staff are. I mean, I know I'm biased as an SPS staff member, but I really do think we have such lovely, supportive staff within the school who just want what's best for our students. And I think it's great with Elle and Nivedita. We've got Elle, who's gone straight from her undergraduate, and then we've got Nivedita, who was already working for quite a few years before coming to do her master's. And it really shows there's no correct time to go do a master's. So don't feel that you've missed the boat if you've already been out working. You can go like anytime and draw on the experience that you've had so far. So that's really great to see. You're to hear both of your experiences. And I would just like to add in something here at this point, that I had, as student experience manager, I've started a new series of alumni events. So I'm embedding them into some of our master's programs, where we invite the current cohort of students along to meet with a panel of some of our previous students from that programme who are able to share their career journey so far and take questions from the students. And they've been great. We've had one for global health so far and one for international relations. And I've also been able to give the opportunity for a student to step up as co-chair within that event. And Elle and Nevedita were our student co-chairs for their respective programs and done a great job. So within our programs, there's also lots of scope for employability, lots to learn. We've got a great employability team based in the college. We can use connections to speak to our alumni, and there are also opportunities for you to kind of step up and have a go at chairing. And hopefully Elle and Nevedita enjoyed their experience when they did it for us. So thank you so much. And then we'll just go to Lou. So Lou, if you think back to when you did your master's, what stands out as the highlight for you?
Yeah, I think a lot of things have been covered already, and I agree with all of that. The one thing I would add is really like that different feel that the master's had compared to an undergrad, because I was expecting something like, I wasn't expecting it just because it was within the same school. With some of the lecturers I already knew from my undergrad and stuff like that. So I didn't expect that much of a difference in terms of the learning part, but it felt more like a good stepping stone for my like career after uni, rather than like something that's too like academic and like studying. It was just so good. I think to have like people from all around the world and with different like experiences as well was so valuable. And the different, even just a like sense of community, I think it was more like encouraging people with different experiences and to foster their network and their social connections was really, really interesting. And I think people were often less focused on, like, oh my God, am I going to graduate, blah, 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 like what classification will I get? But it was more like just preparing yourself for your future career, which was really, really interesting. And in addition to that, you would get a lot of support from the school and the teaching team, which I think they would interact with us more like as peers and as like actual researchers, which was quite a big difference as well. And that was a huge boost for confidence and just to be like validated by lecturers and stuff like that, and that they would absolutely encourage you to lead your own research and to customize your assignments so that it fits what it is that you need and what it is that you want to look into. And that is something that is so like valuable for now my job, and to like be able to take that initiative and to know that I can do it. And yeah, it's just like also created that network. Some of the teaching staff that work in similar like areas that I work in, like we're still in touch in a work capacity. Like it was an amazing stepping stone for me and for my current job.
Thanks, Lou. And it's, as you say, you're emphasising the point that it's not what's important. It's not just what you're learning in your courses, but everything else on top of that, those social connections, the networking, that's all so important too. And you touched on community there, and especially for me as student experience manager, I definitely know that life outside of the classroom is just as important as what you learn inside your program. And having that community and finding your tribe is all as equally as important. So that's a great segue into our next section. So it would be really great to speak about community and how you were involved, how you were involved in the SPS community. What is the SPS community like? And what did you learn from your university experience outside of the classroom? And how did you really get involved in university life? So as you mentioned community there, maybe we could start with you, Lou, tell us a bit about what the community is like within SPS.
Yeah, so during my time at university, I was involved in the Student Experience Forum within the school. which is called STEF, and maybe some of you have heard of it. So it's a group of students from the school and staff that basically come together and organize events throughout the year, both like social and academic. And it's a great way to get to know people and get to know the school and just to like do something still like at university. And I think just to like that build on that sense of community. There's like event at the beginning of the year, like kind of like welcome events, and then there's more like traditional like Scottish events like a Ceilidh, and it's just so fun to, I think, attend these events. They're really accessible, and coming from outside of the UK, I think it was definitely a plus to just have these kind of things organized for people within that school, because when you have like no one, like no family around and stuff like that, I think it's just good to find your peers and not just through classes, because sometimes, like we all know it, it's a bit hard to meet people during lectures and stuff like that. So it was definitely something that was really fun to be part of, and I'm so glad to see it thriving nowadays. So yeah, just well done. It was so fun.
Thanks, Lou, and thank you for mentioning Steph. So our Student Experience Forum is an initiative that I lead on, and I work in partnership with our student societies that are aligned to our 5 subject areas. And within SPS, we have social and public policy, as we've mentioned, politics and international relations, sociology, Central and East European studies, and economic and social history. And each of those subjects has a society, which is just a great network, a family really for you within SPS. And it's a real joy of mine to be able to work in partnership with our student societies and help build a really strong community within SPS. So I'll maybe go on to Elle, because Elle, as Lou mentioned, Lou was actually a founding member of STEF along with myself and a few others. And Elle is a current member of STEF and has been for a couple of years now, and has played a really important role in the community. So Elle, I wonder if you can tell us a bit more about your experience of community life within SPS and how you really got involved in things outside of the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. So my engagement with Steph came through the Social Policy Society. So actually, I think it was you, Lou, that like began the society. And then I know that me and some of my friends kind of picked it up from where Lou left it. I was lucky enough to have made a couple of friends on my course because I met some really pushy people who just wanted to be friends. So that was great for me. But we realized really quickly, like you said, Lou, this wasn't the case for other people, especially at undergraduate level. I would say it's definitely different at master's level. People are we're all very much in the same boat. Everyone just, it's like a more tight-knit community. But importantly, the SPS community encompasses both undergrad and master's level. But yeah, coming at it from the undergrad society level, because I was on the committee for that society, Lindsay invited us to be a part of the Student Experience Forum. And kind of the student-led societies are able to benefit from that relationship, and actually it kind of goes both ways, doesn't it, really? Like we get to have a say in the events that you guys run, and yeah, it's just great. I would say, like, on the kind of topic of extracurriculars, like I think it's definitely, without being really cringe about it, like it's definitely safe to say that I think my extracurriculars have been the best part of my university experience. And I say that beyond the degree. Like I love the degree and I love my undergrad, but I think it's safe to say you can get a degree at most universities, but what you get at Glasgow that's really different is there's a really big drive for community here. Like teams like Lindsay's are doing a lot of work, students themselves are doing a lot of work. I mean, Lindsay, you mentioned some of the societies that are involved in STEF. The number of student societies grows like week by week. Like if you wanted to make your own student society, you could do it. Like Lou did it, like we did it. So there really is something for everyone. My engagement with Steph has been great. Like going to the Ceilidh, and we just had a quiz night the other week. That was great. And it really is open to everyone. I would say it's not really related to social political sciences, but looking beyond that, because you really get an option to be involved in kind of educational events through stuff like this and to meet people as well. But I got really involved with we've got kind of two sections that you can kind of join societies. So kind of SRC are kind of more academic or specific hobby-led societies. And then you've got the sports union, so they run all the kind of sports societies. And through both, you can meet great friends. You don't need to be athletic. You don't need to be incredibly academic to do either of these things. There really is like an opportunity for everyone, I think is what I'm getting at. And they're not things you have to do on campus, but and for a lot of people that's maybe not the case, but for me it's where I made all my friends and I really connected with course mates. And yeah, and I think beyond that, employability skills, I think it's something we really all think about, especially at this level. Lindsay, your team have empowered me so much to develop my employability skills. You've really given me so many opportunities, and I would say, first of all, big thank you for that, but also there's so many people across the school that want to do that for you, and they really just want what's best with you. I think someone asked a question. I was nosying in the comment section. Someone was mentioning, I think it's, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, sorry, but you were asking about the employability opportunities. I think Lindsay touched on it earlier, but we've got a really great employability team. They came into our lectures constantly. They helped us with our presentation skills, with our CV building skills. With your dissertation, they can link you with organizations. Like, yeah, you're not left by yourself to navigate employability. They very much give you a massive helping hand with that, which is great. So yeah, that's probably where I'll leave off.
That's great. Thanks so much, Elle. And yes, like we say, the college, so the School of Social and Political Sciences is part of the College of Social Sciences, and the college has a really great employability team who I work with to do these alumni events, and they do lots of different skills and workshops. So lots to get involved in and really help you to enhance your skills in that area. So we'll just go like to Nivedita. So Nivedita, you've obviously come from outside of the UK. You came to the university. I'm not even sure if you knew anyone when you came here. What has your involvement been like within the school community and the university community?
Okay. As far as the communities are concerned, to be very honest, as I already mentioned, that I came late and I wanted to join these communities, but I was kind of drowning with my pending assignments and everything. So I just wanted to figure out my studies at first, and then I was like, I'll get back to the communities. So today I know that be it the Chinese New Year, be it Easter, be it Christmas, there is no event that is not celebrated in the University of Glasgow. There is community for every community. So, I mean, there are so many communities. You might be like, which one to join? Like, we have lots of things happening every other day. Like, I know from myself being from India, there are so many Indian communities. And I'm like, I don't know which one to join. So, but yeah, I'm part of 3 communities already. Yeah, so that's how it is. But then, there are so many things to do. Like I recently completed a Times group interview. So that's how I participate in university things. So this Times group interview was a thing where we have to interview 30 to 35 final year undergrads. And, this is for the recruiters. And I simply went to people in the big buildings, our library, Fraser Building, and James Smith, approaching people. Would you like to sign up for a quick survey or an interview? And yeah, that's how I got things done. So there are plenty of things. I have also signed up for a thing where I would take people who are visiting University of Glasgow as a tourist to show them the campus. This all comes under University of Glasgow. So in terms of employability, in terms of being part of the community, being part of the university, there are plenty of opportunities to explore. You just have to keep your eye open to the emails, newsletters, and people like Lindsay. Just approach them. They're always there. It's a very happening place to be it the university, be it Glasgow. And being a postgraduate student, all I can say is I just have 1 year to make the most. So I'm like, I have to do everything. So the moment I get an opportunity, I jump into it. And then I'm wondering, oh my God, why did I sign up for this? I don't have so much of time. So yeah, a lot of things are happening, to be very honest.
Thanks, Nivedita. And I think that's a really great point, is to check your emails. When you're a student, you will get a lot of emails. and some of it won't be relevant to you, but a lot of it will be. And that's how you find out about what's happening within the school, what's happening in the university campus, opportunities for you, internship opportunities, you know, lots of like part-time job things, just lots of different things that could really enhance your experience. So that's a big recommendation for myself, is please check your emails, and remember also to follow the school on social media. That's a really great way to keep up with what's happening as well. So thanks. But just before I quickly move on, Nivedita, someone has asked if you're able to share how long you worked before doing your master's, as they are in a kind of similar situation.
Sure. I have work experience of 6 years from India, and with brands like Cognizant and PwC. If you are not aware of, Cognizant is an IT tech giant firm, and PwC is one of the big four audit firm like Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG. These are the big four audit firms. So I was working as a content moderator with them into learning and development. I hope that answers.
Thank you, Nivedita. And that's just stressing again what I'd said earlier, you know, don't feel like you just have to go straight from your undergraduate into your master's degree. If you have been working for a few years, that's great experience that you can bring into your master's, as Elle was saying, all the different skills that you can draw on and develop as well. So again, no correct time, just do what you think's best for you. So just while we're still touching on like community and university life, you've obviously got, all three of you have been so involved in university life and have really made the most of lots of different opportunities that have come your way. If you could pick just one, what has been your most memorable experience at university so far? So Lou, if you think back, what was the biggest highlight for you?
I think that for me, one event that really summed up everything, because there were so many things to pick from, was the graduation ceremony. And I think it was we felt so grateful to have had this opportunity to just be able to be together, because like I mentioned, a lot of the last like 2 years that I spent in Glasgow were during COVID, and we still had like a late graduation, and the uni still like offered us this opportunity to like have a real in-person graduation, which was so amazing. And just to be with my favorite people and, you know, have your family around for the day, and to see the people that have supported you throughout your university. And I think like I remember just feeling very emotional for many reasons. One, because it was kind of the end of like this massive like chapter of my life, and also to just reflect on like the school and the university, and just feeling so valued in my work, because it's, I think, quite easy to feel like, oh, you know, a lot of people like go to university and I'm just like one of them. And yeah, I think it just made me feel very special in the best way possible, and just so motivated to get on with whatever comes next. And it was just a very happy rainy day, but it was still great. And yeah, just thinking about all the opportunities that we were provided as students. Like I also did an internship like at the school, and all of that like finally just all made sense and just were put together, and then being regarded as like a successful student and being able to celebrate all together in a beautiful place as well, I think was really, really nice.
Thanks, Lou. And yeah, the graduation ceremonies are really special, and it was so great that the university were able to arrange ceremonies for the people that were studying and graduating during COVID. And when people graduate, they graduate from the Butte Hall, which is in the main building. So it's basically it looks like Hogwarts, as everyone says, and it's really stunning. So thanks. Okay, Nivedita, what about you? What's been your most memorable experience so far?
I have quite a lot from the beginning. Like, to be very honest, first of all, I was under the impression I won't be able to make it because my visa was delayed. And just to let everybody know, I had an invite from the university, same department, in 2021, but because of pandemic, I didn't come. And again in 2023, I applied, and this time I came with a scholarship. So my journey with University of Glasgow began with a topsy-turvy, emotional. I mean, I want to be there. I have to be there. I don't know what is happening. And again, I have to thank my course convener. I'm not taking his name, but that person actually made things very easy for me. Um, Everything is memorable. I'm not a very social person, to be very honest. I am an introvert. But when I took up the assignment of the Times Group, where I was interviewing our own university students, I actually figured out that nothing is impossible. I was hesitant about approaching people. They are own university students. What's the harm in asking them? Just have a smile, be polite. They will either say a yes or a no. You have nothing to lose. So more than experience, it's a learning process. I have learned so much in last couple of few months. My 6 years of work experience has taught me something, yes, but a new country, new people, new culture, new communities, just let yourself go with the flow. There's so many things that you'll see happening around you. uh, just take the good things, grab the good things, and just be you. I mean, everything is memorable. Like, the season is changing. I came here in the autumn, then winters, and now the spring, and then I'm waiting for the summers. I just can't wait. I want to visit the highlands. So I'm just waiting, like, what's next? It's a very, very nice experience, and it's worth exploring, is all I can say.
Thanks, Nivedita. And yeah, we do have 4 seasons here in Glasgow. We usually have them in the one day. So be prepared for all weathers at all times. But maybe we shouldn't dwell too much on the weather. But we'll over to you, Elle. If you could sum up your most memorable experience, what would it be?
My most memorable experience, not to piggyback on you again, Lou, but that graduation was just insane. Like, I think like you were saying as well, Lindsay, like, I think you get drawn into this uni by like the beautiful campus, and I guess, like, to be transparent, like the university's credentials are great. Like these are all great things, but like once you get here and you see that community, like, and it's really vibrant and diverse, and there really is something for everyone. Those are the best parts. Like, when I got to graduation, like I'm the first person in my family to go to university, so I had no expectations coming in here, which was a really good thing, actually, to be honest. So at graduation, like, it was about me, but I also really wanted to show my parents, like, this really cool thing that I'd done that no one else had done, and like, not to show off, but just I wanted to share that with them. Like, and when we got there, I'd worked really hard at undergrad, and I ended up with a great degree. And when we got there, I realized my parents were less impressed with the degree and far more impressed with like the friends I was there with, and like the community that was like so like obviously around me. Like, that is the most memorable thing, was that graduation, and just being like, yeah, like surrounded by like friends that I will actually have for life. Like, I can say that really confidently. So that was really good. That's my most memorable.
Thanks, Elle. Thank you. It sounds like all three of you have really embraced student life, university life, and really taken advantage of all the kind of opportunities that are available to you. And as we've spoken about, obviously your program, that's so important. What you're going to be studying within your classroom, equally as important as the community life, making those networks and making those connections and joining societies and experiencing the beautiful campus and the surrounding area. It's lovely. So that all will play into the program that you choose. But I think what also is an important factor in your decision is the city itself. And Glasgow, is an amazing city. We're the biggest city in Scotland and one of the biggest within the UK. And in my experience, it's a city that's really great for students. So if maybe like each of you can let us know, what do you like most about living in the city in Glasgow, and why? And Nivedita, why don't you start things off, especially as you've come from outside of the UK, outside of Europe. So what do you make of the city of Glasgow?
I love River Clyde. I am still processing with the climate. As you mentioned, we have four climates in a day. I won't complain about it. Uh, it's good. Glasgow is a very friendly city, if I have to keep it very short and concise. The people are really warm. I was staying at an Airbnb when I came here. The lady over there was, I think, one of the finest and wonderful Scottish lady I have ever seen in my life. Um, I still miss her cat. Her name was Snowdrops. I mean, I really don't know. Like I was overwhelmed. I was crying because I was missing my family terribly. I'm like, where am I and why am I here? But then, thanks to my classmates, thanks to my landlady, thanks to everything, like eventually things do fall in place. Glasgow, I mean, if you're into nightlife, you will love it. If you're into history and culture, just board a train to Edinburgh. It's just 45 minutes, 1 hour. If you love rain, this is the best place. Come on. Like, you'll get to see, once or twice snowfall. That's it. This was till 2023. We just had snowfall for twice. And yeah, it's pretty cold. If you're somebody who likes to be in cold climate, please welcome. It's very cold even now. So, but everything is nice. I mean, for somebody who is coming from India and who never been to any of the Western world countries, I'm not surprised, but it's good. No complaints.
Thanks, Nivedita. And then the slogan for Glasgow is people make Glasgow. So I'm glad to see that you have found that and you've had a really positive experience of people here. What about you, Elle? What have you enjoyed about living in Glasgow and why?
So I'm Scottish, which you might be able to tell. I'm actually from Edinburgh, so I know I want to stay in Scotland because I love it here. I'm a bit biased. I feel very strongly about Scotland as a country. I love it here. In terms of living in Glasgow, when I applied for my undergrad, I visited the city once. And just knew like I wanted to be here. Growing up in Edinburgh, everyone always talked about how much better Glasgow was for shopping. I'm a shopaholic. I love things. Like for food, I love a bit of dinner meat. Like there's so many more options for everything, like nightlife and food and shopping and what I would say is that Glasgow is a really, really big city. Like, I mean, in comparison to Edinburgh, in comparison to any other Scottish city, it's quite significantly bigger. But what's nice about if you situate the uni in Glasgow, we're in we're in the west end of Glasgow. It's this very distinct area. And actually what you find is because the uni is such a hub here, we've got like a community within Glasgow, which is especially, I mean, I can't really speak on it, but for even arriving from Edinburgh, like, safe to say I cried when I got here as well. Like, my family are 40 minutes down the road, and it was a lot. Like, yeah, it is a lot. But this is such a nice, like, safe community around the uni, and that makes it really great to then go and explore the rest of the city. Yeah, there's just so much to do. I think that's probably my headline there.
Thanks, Elle. And as you say, it is the biggest city in Scotland, but it is very easy to navigate around. I think it's got all the great things that come with being a small city as well. The public transport system's pretty good. You can get around the city. You can easily walk from the West End, where the university is situated, into the city centre. And Glasgow is great that it's a great location to get to other places. You can go, as you mentioned there, it's just 40 minutes from Edinburgh. You can go to Loch Lomond, up to the Highlands.
That's
So
one
it's a
thing
great commuter.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's one thing I think actually is really important to mention is Glasgow in comparison to other, like, in comparison to Edinburgh, for example, you're like half an hour away from like Highland walks, like, and there's actually societies at university that will facilitate you going on those walks, so you get to explore. Like, that was one thing when I got here. I was really overwhelmed by the size in comparison to Edinburgh. But it's nice because you get a bit of both. You can have this kind of West End community, the big city of Glasgow, the Highlands, literally on your back door, and the transport. I mean, I think you'll speak to a couple of people who will feel, varied ways about it. But to get about, I think it's actually pretty good. There's buses, there's trains, there's the subway, and so yeah, everything is like very much within your reach.
Yeah.
I'll quickly add something just came in my mind. If you are somebody who loves to read books, Glasgow has got amazing libraries, be it Michel Library, be it our university library. And trust me, it's a walkable city. You can just walk to anywhere and everywhere. So if you're somebody who loves walking, who loves reading, this is your place.
Thank you. So, Lou, do you have anything else to add to how amazing Glasgow is?
It's
Someone
hard.
you also came from outside of Scotland.
Yeah, like what I had in mind have been discussed already. I think like I remember exactly the first time I went to Glasgow for the first time. It was when I was thinking about applying for uni, and I knew it was like love at first sight. It was like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like, oh, just like the energy and the city is so good. And I felt like you just have to be here to kind of experience it. But I felt so like comfortable straight away, even though like I moved like quite like I was 18 and I moved alone. And yeah, I think especially when you move from another country, there's a lot of challenges sometimes, like when English is not like your native language, and God knows the Glaswegian accent can be challenging. But I feel like I only have good experiences about this. Like it was something that was quite stressful before moving, but then the people like it was mentioned like are so friendly and I think helpful. Like I cannot describe, like you just have so many things to deal with when you move to another country or really anywhere. Like it's just there's a lot of like admin and a lot of like I don't know, like going to the doctor, it always works differently, like. And so I think people were just so patient, and I've really never really had a negative experience where people told me off because I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what they were on about. Like it was just like all of these experiences were just ended up being quite fun and a good learning. There was a learning curve for me, but it was always made it such like a safe and like friendly way. And I think like on that note as well, like the uni supports you, like supported me at least with a lot of things that I thought were like not uni related, but they're more like day-to-day stuff, like as a young adult like in the city or just even an adult. And you get so much support for a lot of different things that I didn't know like I could ask the uni for that. And yeah, it's just it was really really good. And I think yeah, I also agree with like it feels like a big city, but it's also like it was not as overwhelming as I thought, coming from a place where I never lived in a big city in my life, and then I moved to Glasgow, and then I feel like it's still my little village. And yeah, like I came here to study, and initially I was only looking to stay like 4 years during my undergrad, and then frankly I just didn't want to leave. Like I didn't want to leave the uni, but I also didn't want to leave the city, and then I stayed an extra year, and now I'm still here. And yeah, it's been almost 7 years.
Thanks, Lou. That's really great. And yes, sometimes the accent can be a struggle to get to grips with. But if you go on the school's Instagram, UofG SPS, look back because we've done a guide to the Glasgow dialects. We did that like maybe about a year and a half ago. So go and have a look. You'll have all the Glasgow expressions explained for you. By the time you get here, you'll be an expert. So we're just coming to the end of our session. So maybe we've got time for just one very last thing. Each of you, what would you recommend doing in Glasgow for a new student? So one thing that for a new student, if they were coming to Glasgow, what's the one thing you would say you definitely need to do this? Nivedita, what do you think?
I really don't know, because this is a very tricky question. It depends on the individual person, like who or he is and what his taste, choice, and preference is. But yeah, I would suggest try to explore the Kelvin Grove Museum. Try to explore our own university, because that is nothing less than a tourist destination, trust me. And if you are a Harry Potter and Hogwarts fan, you should not miss this. And if you just have one day, I'll say please visit my own university.
Thanks, Nivedita. And just to add as well, most of the museums in Scotland are free to enter, so
Yeah,
please take
yes.
advantage of that. Elle, anything from you?
I know it's in the City of Glasgow section, but I would actually make a point of seeing other parts of Glasgow. The West End is lovely. everything is here that you could possibly need. But like, yeah, make a point of going to see. There's so many parks in the city, and there are transport options. So yeah, don't get stuck in the West End. There's so much out there. It's such a big city. And yeah, go to Edinburgh. I'm a bit biased, but it's great there.
Thanks, Elle. So Glasgow is actually Gaelic for Deer Green Place. And as Elle said, there are, I think, over 100 green spaces within Glasgow City. And doing another plug for our school's Instagram, but we did a series last year on Deer Green Places, highlighting some of the amazing parks and green spaces that are in Glasgow. So please check it out, and lots to see here. And finally, Lou.
I think, yeah, have a wee wander. Like, there's so many hidden gems, I think, in Glasgow. It's just Glasgow is a mix of like so many different like architecture, so many different kind of vibes. And I think there's so many places like wee little like markets, like in the south side, and cafes and stuff like that. And just to like, I think the uni might, like the school posted like a hidden gem series a couple of years ago. And like with like different places to go for a wee walk, like within walking distance from uni and stuff like that. And I think it's just so cute. Like, you have all of these cute wee places that you can go to, and yeah, just wander about and explore. There's, like we said, there's so many nice like landscapes like not too far from Glasgow as well, so definitely visit and explore.
Thank you. Well, that's us come to the end of our session. I just want to say a huge thank you to Elle, Nivedita and Lou for sharing their experiences with us. And many, many thanks to all of you for tuning in today. I really hope you found it informative. I think the email address for the school has been posted in the chat. So if you want to follow up on anything, if you've got any more questions that in areas that we've not covered, then please send an email and one of the team will get back to you. So thanks again, and hopefully you will be joining us soon in SBS. Take care. Bye-bye.